All right. Better late than never, I guess. Uh, I think I'm 10 minutes late or so. I was hoping to be 5 minutes late, but there you go. Anybody online? Nobody yet that I can see. What do we got going here? There's 24 folks online. There we go. There's some folks showing up. Who's here? We got somebody in New Jersey, maybe. Stephen Douglas, what's up? Hi from Poland. What's happening? So you guys, I'm in this insane spot right now. Braxall's got a question right out of the gate. I can't quite describe, and I wish that it had stayed light a little bit longer, but I'm on the side of this beautiful little canal, and it's gorgeous. I'm in Ommen, Netherlands, and it's so cool. Anyways, Braxall says, I did, well, I'll fill you in after I answer a couple of these. If you were to use Torpedo M cab and aux together with 2 amps into your interface, would there be latency and phase issues? I haven't tried it, but the short answer is probably, yeah. Uh, Most of the devices that you would use to do IRs or that type of thing are going to create like some degree of latency for sure, and it's going to be different, for the different devices. So that's what I found. Like even it's kind of like when you use impulse responses, even 2 different impulse responses. Like say use one from Celestion and one from Ownhammer, they'll be different the way that the phase alignment works and stuff. And hey, and tell me how the audio is, guys. Is it okay? Can you hear me pretty good? Just because I plugged in the headphones today, and was hoping that that would be helpful. Yeah, darkness in the Netherlands. Yeah, I know. I went outside because I thought it'd be cool, and secretly I just want to sit outside because it's so cool out here. But there's like a bridge over there over this canal, and then I ate actually over there. Just that's what made me late. I'd hoped I would be on time, but then this gluten-free bread showed up with this jam and butter and this insane cheese, and there was walnuts and some garlic involved, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a few minutes late. And then the fish showed up, and asparagus and sweet potatoes, and I enjoyed. Tim says, hey Pete, I really wanted to catch you in Birmingham last week, but Muse were great. I would go to Muse too. You're here now, right? So you can't see Muse every week. You can see me every week. Have I found improved tuning stability with the new bridge, says Eric. Eric Johnson. It's not that Eric Johnson, but an Eric Johnson nonetheless. Yeah, it's mainly on the G and the E string, and it is a huge difference in my books. The 510 is great, but I can pretty much keep a 6-screw traditional Strat bridge in tune as well as I could keep a 510 in tune, which is to say they go out every now and then a little bit. That's just my opinion. And with the new bridge, it's more like almost certainly a little bit like at least as good as a Kaler, Nobody remembers those anyway, though, so that doesn't mean anything. It's 90%, 95% there to a Floyd to me. The only difference between a Floyd and what I'm doing is that the Floyd has a lock nut, whereas my strings will pass over the nut still. So there's still a little chance that you could bind there, but it's a Tusk nut on my guitar. And the trade-off, like having to drill a Floyd nut on there and have all that business, I don't want to do that and fine tuners and stuff. So it's like, as long as you use a good nut that's cut properly, especially if it's real slippery and stuff, it's pretty amazing. Like, I basically I do my whole clinic, for example, and I never tune. Yesterday, I think I tuned once in the middle because I felt like my E string was a little flat or something. But in other words, I track a song in my clinic while I'm out here, so I do all the rhythm guitar parts, all, the lead guitar parts, auxiliary parts, and I never tune. I just do the whole thing, and it's just still in tune. So, hey, what's up? It's Chris Buck in Heavens. How's it going, you handsome man? See you in Germany on Thursday. That's awesome. Yeah, I know we're gonna have fun. Mannheim, right? Guitar Summit. It's gonna be fun. So I'll be there this week, all week in Germany. I'm at Music Productif tomorrow. I got to look at my exactly where I'm going to be. I'll tell you guys exactly where I'm going to be over the next week, because this is a good chance to certainly promo the clinics. So let me just open up my phone. I've covered a lot of ground since I saw you guys last. If you were here last week, watching, from, I guess I was in Glasgow last week. A glass of wine this week. It's not coffee. So if you were watching me from Glasgow last week, God, I was there, and then I was in Edinburgh, and then I was in Birmingham. After that I went to see the captain. There's a little video coming out with him and me, Andertons. What did I hit after that? Paris, then Belgium, and now here, Fellowship of Acoustics in the Netherlands. So I did a lot in the last week. We went all the way up around the UK. I mean, took a big circle. It was 1,000 miles, I think, that we covered. Okay, so I did Fellowship of Acoustics yesterday, which unbelievable place, by the way. I'm going to put out a video on that place because it's just this gorgeous. It's more than a music store. It's a incredible. And by the way, I'm in Amen right now, and I went to Zwolle today. This country, man, it's unbelievable place. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam a bunch of times, and I've been to Groningen, but other than that, I've never really, explored some of the smaller towns, other cities. You got to come here if you've never been to the Netherlands. It's like a postcard or something. I don't know how else to describe it. Everybody's riding bikes. Everybody's good looking. The food's off the chain and just outstanding. The people are super nice. I mean, you walk up to a crosswalk and the cars are slowing down and they wave at you to go. you haven't even gotten there yet. It's just a really, really, really great place. Okay, so coming up this week, I'll be at Music Produktiv in Eibenbüren, Germany, and that's tomorrow for a clinic. On the 25th, I'm at Station Music in Jettingen. Sorry, I'm not sure which. And then I'm going to be at Guitar Summit 27th and 28th in Mannheim. And then it's off to Italy after that. So that's in about another week. I'll be the 30th, 1st, and 2nd are Milan, Rome, and Naples. That's what I got coming up. Okay, let's get to some guitar questions. I'm going to back up in the chat here. I'll go way back like I always do, and then I'll be way behind. Mr. Dirk says, welcome to our rainy little country, but not today. How about today? Today was like just unbelievable. Wow, somebody from Uruguay in the house. That's amazing. Sebastian, what's up, man? How are you? Do you still use your Helix? Yes, and I use my Helix HX in the clinic. I'm using it all the time, actually. It's become my little pedal board. So that's a Helix of sorts. The Helix is great, and the HX Effects has become a real capable partner, I've found, for my PT15. Channel switches the amps beautifully, and the effects are great, and it's so tiny. I just throw out my suitcase out here. It's killer. I think people are actually pretty blown away with it because using the clinic, it sounds so good. And like a lot of like working guys have walked up and looked at the stage after and said, like, that thing's awesome. I got to get one of those. Chris Cam says, what time is it here? It's just after 8. So I guess it's 8:30 now. What else we got going here? Let's see. Somebody said, I'm making them hungry. Yeah, I know. Dinner was good. Food last night was insane. There's all these great restaurants here where people use the local stuff and kind of forage and, gardens. And the chef was incredible, saying, this comes from my garden. These are flowers from my garden in here, and I use things from my garden for this. So that was after the festival of, the Fellowship of Acoustics, where I played yesterday. The guys took me out for dinner, and they took me to this amazing restaurant. It was really great. Frequently asked question for me says, rented. Do I turn off the amp or put it in standby if the break is 30 minutes or so? I usually do, yeah. So much conflicting info online. I'll usually put it on standby if it's 30 minutes. If it's more than that, I'll usually shut it off. That's about actually probably where I would just turn it off if it's more than 30. So, yeah. And I do the standard warm-up and cool down for 30 seconds before I shut the switch off, even though John's actually told me like that turning it off, you don't even have to worry about that, but I still do it anyway. Mr. Dirks says, was I received well by the Dutch? Yes, they've been very, very nice. And this last 2 days has been exceptional. So I had fun before this, but I needed this couple days of just a little bit of, I mean, it's gorgeous out here. It's incredible weather. And once again, for those that just joined, I just ate over there, which was unbelievable, across this canal. And you can see it's just, during the day, this is just stunning here, really nice. And the people were so nice at the Fellowship of Acoustics yesterday. By the way, what a great store. I already mentioned that, but it's just like absolutely gorgeous. It's this old house, I guess, or maybe I think it was the mayor's office at one point. I might, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows, but and then they added another building onto it so it was built in 1870. They added another building on in 1970, and it's like a stream running by it, just all nature all the way around, just this gorgeous, gorgeous building. And the kind of the different rooms are, there's banjos in one room and mandolins and stuff, and there's beautiful acoustic guitars and stuff. And they've got a nice area to film upstairs, great big high ceilings. You can take acoustics in there and play. I mean, you can imagine, big old house with these kind of grand rooms and how good guitars sound in there. It's just a really, really cool place. So, a lot of the business has gone the way of mail order, buying things online, but it'd be hard to get that kind of experience, where you could go and try all these acoustic guitars in this incredible environment. And like just going there to shop is a special thing, I feel like. So it was a really nice shop. Will the new bridge retro into a Floyd, says Sean. I doubt it. I doubt the post spacing is the same. It's the same as a 510. And that's not the same as a Floyd, so you'd probably have to plug the holes and re-drill, I would think. But it's a good question for a tech or for Sir. Eddie Vanderweed says, it was very helpful yesterday. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a really nice vibe yesterday at the place. Really fun. Jerry Cantrell remembers the Kaler, says Matt. Yeah, he's one of the only guys, right, that still probably has one. I remember, who else used to use one? Adrian Belew used one. I remember that. He had one on it. Remember when he used to, Adrian Belew, God, I haven't thought about this in probably 25 years, but he had those Fender Mustangs, right? With Kalers on them and kind of hot rodded with crazy paint that looked kind of like, I don't know, it was like multicolor kind of pastel colors or something, as I remember. And he had Kalers, right? I think. Robbie Rose wants to know if I've seen all the hookers in Amsterdam. Well, I've certainly walked by them before, yes. Yeah. If you go to Amsterdam, it's hard to miss. I just saw Allison Chains 2 days ago, says Eric Johnson. I've been looking at Kaler since I noticed Jerry uses one. Thanks for answering my question. Kalers are, they're a little bit of a tone suck, I think that's the only thing, but Jerry certainly didn't have any issue with them, he had good luck with them. They feel real unique, they've got kind of almost like a jazz master kind of action to them or something, I find. Just kind of a unique, they're nice for like if you do any kind of chordal stuff and you want to kind of wiggle the chords, a little bit and get a little vibrato. Nice for that. But beyond that, I don't know. Love Jerry Cantrell. Wonder what makes those single pickup guitars sound so filthy, says Leo. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just Jerry, the way he dials them in and plays really cool. Alan says he remembers Alan Murphy using a Kaler. I think a lot of people tried them. I had one on one guitar. I had a Fender Lead 3 and I had a Kaler put on it. Kind of a weird guitar and kind of a weird bridge. So I wonder where that guitar is now, if somebody's using it or if it's in a trash bin somewhere. Music Productif is a nice place, lots of guitars and no one bothering you when trying all the guitars. That's Christian. Yeah, I look forward to going there tomorrow. Supposed to have some crazy amp room, maybe? Is that the place? It's got the crazy selection of amps all wired up. Thanks for yesterday at Fellowship of Acoustics. It was great meeting you and talking about Chris at Pink Pop. Oh yeah, I remember you, dude. Yeah, of course. Playing Spoon Man, including Good Times, Bad Times. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming to the clinic and reminding me of that. There's probably a video of that on YouTube, I think, where we did Spoon Man went into good times, bad times. By the time we got to Pink Pop, we were like a well-oiled machine. I remember that feeling of like just the band was. I remember that gig going like real smooth and just, that was 3 years into our tenure, I think, with him, and or 2 years, I guess. But yeah, we'd played a lot of gigs by then, covered a lot of ground and stuff. Hey Pete, greetings from Belgium. We met in Mons. I was the last guy for the CD and pictures. That's Robert. Hi, Robert. Nice to meet you there, and thanks for coming out. It's been fun so far, real fun. Have you seen the remastered Van Halen concert footage from the first tour that hit the internet this week? Amazing, says Steven. Thank you for reminding me. I haven't, and I saw it when it popped up, and then I never checked it out because it's kind of hard out here. I don't have great internet, like on the phone. So I kind of need to be at a hotel or something to get any kind of video going. I need to be, and I am now, so I'm going to remind myself. Remind me in 2 hours to check out the Van Halen 1978 footage. Cool. That's how I keep my life together these days. Pete in the dark. Yeah, I could go inside, but it's really not that interesting. It's just I'd be in a hotel in the restaurant, and it's probably quieter out here actually, so it's probably easier to hear me. Once again, if folks are just joining, we got about 200 people online, sitting on the side of a canal in the Netherlands, and I just ate over there, and it was stellar. I wish you could see the windmill that's just over there, because it's just quintessentially Holland. Yeah, why am I in the Netherlands, says Dave. I'm over here doing a European clinic tour, about 14 clinics over 3 weeks, as well as some other work that I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be really cool. Just something I'm working on. And that was the first few days of my trip out here that I was doing in the UK, and it's super fun. How much does it cost to visit all these places that I'm at, says Broxall. You mean like touring around to go? I'm over here with Sir, and they've got also one of the European reps helping me. So Sir has a full-time fellow named Nigel in the UK, and then they have distributors in the rest of Europe. And so generally those folks will get involved when you're doing a clinic like this or something, and they will help to facilitate your travel. And Nigel drove me all over the UK in his personal car. And now I'm with a fellow named Brian, who's with the Sir distribution in Europe. And he's been driving me around the last few days. And, they drive me around, help me, and, basically I don't want to get into all the business details and stuff like that, but that's kind of how it works, And this is really a Sir thing, so they're flying me over here and stuff. And I've got a couple other co-sponsors on board, Line 6, Universal Audio, DistroKid. So there's actually 4 sponsors on the clinic, but with Sir being the primary one, though. And that all helps to, with the travel, the hotels, and just the organization of the whole thing, as well as, I have to earn something while I'm over here, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage next month. So all that good stuff. Let's see here. David has left a list of Dutch guitarists for me to check out, but I'm not going to be able to pronounce them. I will destroy the names, so I don't want to do that because that would be embarrassing. Yeah. Torrance says he had an ear surgery this week and he had to bail on Incubus and Alice in Chains this week. Bit of a bummer. I hope your ear's okay, dude. I hope you came out with, you like 100% recovery. So, pulling for you. What do I think of the new Yamaha THR-10 II? Seems like the ultimate practice amp. Yeah, it seemed cool for what it is. I watched a couple of videos on it. It seems pretty damn cool for sure. Somebody said that they're trying to send me a top chat and that it's not coming through correctly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, none of it's come through. You're right. I don't know what's up with that. Sorry. That's Joe. I'm not sure what's happening. Kind of weird. Oh well. What can we do? Oh, I see. Yeah, there's Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. Sorry about that. I'm going to move down a little bit here in the chat because I'm so far behind. And let's see. Holland is awesome, especially on music. Lots of nice people inviting you for a beer and a talk. It's a laid back. I love it. That's Christian. Yeah, it's so great. I totally agree. One of the nicest countries I've been to in Europe for sure. Certainly one of my favorite places at this point. It's pretty damn great. Don't fall in the canal, says SRD. I won't. Yeah. I saw Big Wreck for the first time on Friday. What an awesome show. Ian's tone is huge, sort of like his voice, says Timothy. That's awesome. I'd love to catch him on this tour. I'm not sure that I'm going to get to. Hopefully it's possible. Yeah. Ben Coombs is here, as always, my faithful moderator. Nice to have you here, man. Thanks for being here. Pedro says, hey Pete, cheers for Portugal. Were Celestion V-Type or G1265 options when you tested the speaker for your PT15? I can't remember if we listened to V-Types or not. That's a good question. I like V-Types. It's not my favorite speaker, but I think it's a really good all-round speaker for sure. I know we listened to H's, M's, and Creambacks. We listened to Neo Creambacks. I don't think we did listen to V-Types. The V-Type's a nice speaker for sure. It sounds like a cross between a Greenback and a V30 to me, but in my cab we ended up with a Greenback and a V30, so we kind of just did that. And it's a real nice combo. Do I think there will be any plug-in versions of the Sur PT15 being developed similar to the PT100? You know, it would be so similar because the overdrive channel is basically the same. Clean channel's a little different, but the plug-in sounds so damn good. The one they made, I would sort of see it as being kind of redundant. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it at all if Brainworks wanted to put the time into it, that's for sure, because really it's them doing the work. Yeah, I don't know, I would just roll with the PT100. I mean, it's so damn good. That plugin that made it's my favorite amp plugin for sure, and that's not just because it's mine. Well, it probably is because it's the sounds I like, but but that means he's replicated them so well. Let's see who else we got here. We got somebody here from Russia. It's Tony. He checked out my video from Wildwood Guitars. Nice amp. Thanks, man. Yeah, the Wildwood video turned out pretty good, I think. It was kind of rushed getting there, and I had to kind of knock it out pretty quick because I had a clinic later that evening. But I just kind of did the best I could in the time that we had, and I was happy with the way that it turned out for sure. And they were nice people. It's an amazing place. Am I going to come to Norway? Says Mr. Selland. I would love to do that and work on that. Oh, I felt a raindrop, I think. That might mean I might be changing up locales here in a minute. Yeah, I would love to come to Norway. We'll see. Not sure. Talking about some stuff, Scandinavia stuff. There's been a little bit of interest in that part of the world. You know, maybe like Finland. But if I did it, I would have to just figure out how to do Finland, Sweden, Norway, I would think. Why not just make it happen, you know? Yeah. Let's see. How do I apply to be a Sir Artist Concierge, says Chris Cam. That'd be a position I don't know anything about. Yeah, it's starting to rain. I think I might have to go inside. I'll wait another couple minutes because it's just a trickle right now. But when am I going to do an instructional lesson? I have some lessons, if you haven't seen them, both on my YouTube and then also on Jam Track Central. There's some full song lessons you can get from Jam Track Central. I teach how to play some of my songs. The Groomed Noodler, Perplexed. That's the other one that's on there. Homage is on there. Yeah, I'm going to go inside, guys, so just bear with me here while I move locales, because my iPad's going to get wet. So, one more look at the area out here, and that's all you'll see, I guess. You'll find somewhere, maybe in the restaurant or the lounge in here to chill. Hopefully the internet will be cooperative. Look at folks on bikes. Oh, you missed that. Everybody's always riding bikes in Holland. I wonder if there's anything else I can show you while I'm out here, while I got you on the... Not really. This is a sleepy little town, but it's cool. Really cool. Okay, bear with me while we move locales. There's a pub in here, and I could maybe go sit in there, actually. Restaurant in here. Here's a nice spot. I'm going to go over here. All right. Thanks for bearing with me there. Let's see here. Okay, I'm all the way down in the bottom of the chat. And Pete should do the entire video just walking around town, says Chris. Yeah, I wish I could. If I had good internet, that would be cool, man. It's really a great place. Stealth Parrot says, I bought Groomed Noodler on Jam Tracks. It's a bit beyond my abilities. Well, hang in there and just, just work on it until you got it. Because you can do it, my friend. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. That's for sure. Chris Camp says, really appreciate the pictures and videos you shared. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been just a beautiful couple days here in Netherlands, for sure. Braxall says, do they serve hamburgers here? Yes, they certainly do. Not a bad stream for not being at your studio, says no cover charge. Thanks. Does that mean technically, or my content? It's working out good. There's good internet at this hotel, which hasn't been the way I've had really slow internet at a few of these hotels, and I was worried that today would be like that, but this seems rocking, so seems okay. Scandinavia, coffee with Ola, go to Frog Leap, maybe do the... Yeah, you're right. See, that's a lot of stuff that I would have to do there. I'd probably have to go see Leo for sure, make a video or something. I would love to do that, and definitely Ola, that'd be rad. I love that guy. He's awesome. Ola testing shit. Today's shit is... The Warren Hewart interview was cool, says Jim. Yeah, that's right, no good. That guy's cool. I like Warren. He's in LA, and we just got to hang out more, really, because, it's funny, hang out in other countries, but not in LA. I did go to his birthday party a long time ago. It's actually his birthday was like in the room where Van Halen recorded Van Halen 1. So, at Sunset Sound. It was really fun being in there for a party, They had like all the, cake and everything set up in the live room there. Yeah, pretty neat. Where Prince recorded and all kinds of stuff. Sammy says, thanks again for the clinic in France and the advice about developing melody. I really enjoyed the way you explained things and how nice you are. Thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. How was the experience of working at Decoy Studios, says Alan. Will you be returning? I hope so, yeah. And it was great. That's a studio where I did something that I can't talk about yet, but I will be soon. And Decoy was gorgeous. It's like this studio out in the English countryside with a pond out in the back. And I tell you what, these Europeans, folks, they really know how to do things. It's a nice way of life, be it in the UK, France, Netherlands. I know it's all different to you guys that live in Europe, but there's similarities between all your countries that are nice. It's a pretty nice lifestyle. But yeah, Decoy, great place, and I would love to go back there and do some more work for sure. Braxall's asking, do I know Andy Wood? Yes, I do very well. I've known him for a long time. Lucky Lick says Billy Sheehan was here in Finland yesterday. He's going to be, I believe, at what's the place I'm trying to think of? Guitar Summit in Mannheim. He's going to be there as well as Paul Gilbert, I think. So I'm sure they'll be involved in the jam and all that. We will see. What else we got here? What's the best all-around IR pack for purchase, says Jason. Celestion, I think. If you Andrew wanted to know what plugin I'm talking about. I'm talking about the PT100 amplifier plugin from Universal Audio Brainworks and Sir. That's they modeled my amplifier and it was really killer. They did a great job on it, I think. Best all-around IR pack for purchase, I think, is the Celestions. Just get them all. And Ownhammer makes nice ones too. ML, I downloaded some of theirs recently. They sound really good, I think. There's lots of good stuff out there. It's nice to have some variety. I'm mainly, Celestion user. I think they do a really nice job on theirs. And yeah. Yeah. Anybody like Scumbag speakers, says T-Mit73. I have a 212 with V30 and Scumbag. Sounds really sweet. I used Scumbags for a long time. I still have one in a cab, and actually more than that, I think. I've got a cab in storage that has Scumbags in it too. What the heck is that cab now? I've got it in storage in a road case. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I've got a full 412 with Scumbags in it. It's a really nice cabinet. I know Jim years back. I was using his speakers kind of exclusively for a little while there. Really, really good stuff. Christopher Butler says, totally hooked on the tune and video for In Good Company. Pretty much a perfect track. Thanks, man. That's one of my favorites on the album. Laurie's solo always makes the hair on my arm stand up. Beautiful stuff. I know, she just killed it, didn't she? I can sing it in my head right now. Think of that solo. It's really good. I just love what she came up with. And for Tim and her to do that, and I asked them to video their takes, when they did takes of the solos. And they did that, and they gave me the videos. I can't thank them both enough. I owed Laurie a debt for that. I felt like, and when I actually recorded 2 songs from her new album in my studio. She wanted to do a bunch of guitars, and so she came in and did the guitars on two tracks or 3 tracks over a couple days at my studio, and just on the house because she came and played on my track and. She also did In Good Company, and then she also played on the PT15 demo, and I felt like it was so good. She just killed it, so she's amazing. Emilio says, love Amsterdam, played the Paradiso last year. That's a great classic venue there. I played there with Cornell as well as, I've played there with a lot of bands. I think Five for Fighting, one of the first times I was over here. I played there with Melissa Etheridge. Actually, I've got great memories and really cool photos from the Melissa Etheridge gig there at Paradiso. Watertown, Amsterdam. Times. I think the first time I was in Amsterdam was probably 2001 or something. So it's going on almost 18 years ago, something like that. Okay, I'm going to move down in the chat because I'm way far behind. I'm backed up there. See what you guys are talking about. We got 241 people online. That's not too bad. And let me know. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's a little bit noisier in here than outside. Let's see. Get down to the bottom here, close to it. What demos do I have coming up? I got to do a demo for the Rev G2 and get that done. You guys saw I put out the Roland delay this week. Sorry, Boss delay, the new one. Spacing on the acronym for it, but the 200, not the 500. And it's really cool. It sounds great. What else have I got coming up? I got a bunch I got to get to when I get home. There's a ton of overdrives. It's a new version of the Cali 76 compressor. Looper pedal. That's just off the top of my head. Can't remember more than that right now. But there's at least probably 5 overdrives or something that I got to get to. Please check the reverb of the bathroom. Who knows, says Pedro. You want me to go in the bathroom right now? Might be weird. Any tips for increasing sustain? Strings, bridge, fingers, anything? Says Eric. Tell me a little bit about the rest of your rig. I mean, a compressor. Strings, no. Bridge, not so much. you know, sustain, compression, overdrive, a little clean boost, get the guitar to feedback a little bit. Let's see, I'm at Bonamassa at a meet and greet, says Stealth Parrot, and I was a little disappointed in how it felt like he couldn't wait to split. Yeah, I try and spend as much time there as I possibly can. I mean, actually, I was the last guy to leave yesterday. The room was empty because I had to pack up after. People see me wrapping my own cables after, and they're like, "Oh, you got to do that too?" It's like, "Yeah, man, it's just me out here, setting up, tearing down." And it's I don't know. Bonamassa, you never know. Maybe somebody has a bad day. Maybe they feel a little under the weather. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's had a fight with his significant other, or he's got a meeting or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? He's got to make a phone call. So it's hard to say. It's hard to be on all the time. That's for sure. I'll never forget like somebody coming up to me once after I was playing with Jewel. I remember, and I was playing at in Nashville, and we just played the big arena there, the Bridgestone Arena or whatever. I can't remember. We were opening for Rob Thomas, and I remember doing the gig, and then there was a friend of mine there afterwards that I was looking for. So I was hunting around, and I'd kind of gone out I was outside the venue, I think. Maybe there was a smoking area or something. I can't remember. But anyway, I was out and I was looking around, and this girl was like, "Hey, you were just that guy on stage. Could come over here and like, can you take a picture with me and my friends?" And this kind of thing, And I was like, "You know what? I'm really sorry. I gotta go. I can't talk right now. Because I was looking for my friend, and we were like texting or calling, and like, it was like, I'm right over here. I was like, "Oh, I'll be right there." And one of those things. I'm like, I gotta. And she's like, "Well, okay then, asshole." Just like, I was like, no, I'm really sorry. I'm just like in something right now. And so there's these situations. I always remember that. I always try and be like extra careful and sensitive to like spend time with people because, well, first of all, when I'm out here on my clinic tour, people want to talk to me. I just am so stoked. This is one of the first times I've ever done anything that's like on my own, like where I'm not a sideman. I'm over here. It struck me today, I'm in this beautiful place and I'm hanging out, and it's my thing, like that got me here. I'm not working for some other artist whose name's on the bill, and that doesn't that's not lost on me, like how special that is, and how I want that to continue, and hopefully I can keep that going, and if people are willing to that's all because of the people that show up. If there was no people that would show up, then I wouldn't be here. There'd be no point. So it's a symbiotic relationship that you have to nurture, and I'm just, some of the people that have talked to me over the last few days has just been so special. I mean, one guy told me, I think it was yesterday, that he said, "I've had a bunch of illnesses and said a lot of problems, and your videos and music has helped me get through. I'll watch it and it helps me forget and get over some of these things that I've been dealing with and stuff." And it's just, I can't believe it when people tell me stuff like that. And it makes it really worthwhile, to be out here and do it. So if I had to have just one IR for a gig, which one would I use? Probably the Greenback 121-57 mix currently is the main one I use from Celestion. 412 Greenback 121 and 57 blend. That's Robbie Rose asking that. Have I seen anybody do magnet fishing, says Rodney, on the canal? Not yet, no. Yeah. Let's see. So much more history here, says Ben Coombs. Yeah, absolutely. Thousands of years. I saw you filming in the Fellowship. Is that your tour recap video, says Marty? I thought I would just do a video just on the Fellowship because it's like such a neat shop, It might end up being like 2-3 minutes long, but just kind of, looking around some of the scenery. I'll probably include some photos from around here too, just the town, because I've just had a really great time in Holland. So not that I haven't had a great time everywhere else, I have, but it's just such a unique shop, and they took me out for such a nice dinner, and it was just like, well, I don't know, there was really terrific hosts and stuff. I thought it would be nice to have filmed a little bit of a video. Everybody's been terrific, all the stores that have had me out and stuff. It's been awesome. So Jim says, "Pete, please consider doing a clinic in Bangkok, Thailand if you come to Southeast Asia. Maybe that would speed up the PT-15s being shipped here. I would hope. Yeah, I would hope. I would hope. Yeah, there's some sort of problem with the top chat today, so if anybody was trying to do that, I don't know what's going on with it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But I don't know what's happening. But anyways, strange. I'm going to move down a little bit. Hey, Pete, say hello to Brazil. What is up, O Guitarista de Quattro? What's happening, man? Nice to have Brazil in the house represented. Maybe I'll make it down there one of these days. I hope so. Let me rephrase this as a question, says Buzz. Am I in the pub? Am I going to order? I'm actually in the restaurant. There is a pub, but it's a little, I don't know. I just feel like this is a better place to sit. It's a little brighter and stuff, and maybe I'd be, obtrusive in there or something. Trying to do a live stream in there. I'm not sure it'd be totally appropriate. I'm kind of in like the corner of a, isolated corner of a hotel, restaurant, lounge, and I think it's a good spot I'm in right now. Just trying to page through the chat here. Let's see. Have a great trip, says Lawrence Petros Design. Got to run. Happy Sunday. Great to see you, man. As always, thanks for showing up. Where's Dr. Cheeseburger? Says ST Design. Who's that? Have I heard from Wayne Charvel? I'm not sure how Wayne's doing. They raised quite a bit of money through the online, it was the campaign through, you guys will know, the crowdfunding campaign to help Wayne because he was up in Paradise and lost all his home and his shop and everything. So maybe somebody can go check that right now and while we're on here and fill us in on how he's doing. I'm not sure. Ownhammer GNR IRs are amazing, says Danielle. My rig is inspired by your videos with the Helix reactive load real amp. That's awesome, man. I agree. That is a good one. I've tried those. I like the GNR cab as well as the Friedman Ownhammers are pretty damn nice too. Nice, like sort of alternative to some of the other stuff I have for sure. Let's see, who else we got here? Cooking potato pasta spicy soup, says my knees hurt. That sounds delicious. What time is the show, says SD Design. I think you guys are talking amongst yourselves, Ben Coombs and you. Volume is okay, A1 for sound. Good, I guess it's these headphones. I'm using the, just the standard iPhone headphones this week. Seems to be working pretty good. Yeah. When am I going to do another clinic in Edmonton? I heard about it too late the last time, says Davis. I'd love to go back up and do it again. It's been a minute. That was one of the very first ones I did at the end of 2017. I could do the new one and show the new amp and stuff. So I know those folks pretty well. Maybe I'll ask about that. Maybe there's time to run up there in December or something and knock one out. I guess we'd have to get on it pretty quick. Alan Bartlett says, great demo of the Boss DD200. Thanks, man. Will I be coming through Germany, says Flavio? Yes, so I'm at Music Productive tomorrow. Then I'll be at Station, I think it's called, or Session Music, is that right? The following day, or 2 days later. Yeah, I'll just get you the dates right now. And then I'm 2 days at Guitar Summit in Mannheim. Station Music on the 25th. I'm at Music Productive on the 23rd. 27th and 28th is Guitar Summit in Mannheim, where I'm doing my clinic as well as a master class. So the master class at Guitar Summit, if anybody's going there, is limited to 25 people. And the theme is going to be so you want to be a pro musician stuff. So I'm going to go over, I need to kind of just finalize a few things and work it out, but I'm going to go over everything from, the personality stuff, getting along with others and all that, how to audition, some of the things that I've covered in my videos online. Also how I learn material and, maybe some new stuff that I haven't covered in the videos as well. But I just kind of want to do a one-on-one of that stuff because I feel like that's more the real world kind of experience stuff that I can offer, like maybe some audition stories or some stories of adversity and stuff like that than, just showing some licks or whatever. Maybe there'll be some of that too. I thought I might do a little bit on developing a tone. Like making a sound from scratch, picking a sound and then trying to dial it in, maybe while we're in the clinic. Something like that. Yeah. Eric Johnson says, I'm curious how different mass and tensions of different string gauges and how they interact with the magnetic field of the pickups might affect sustain. Well, let's try some different sets and see if you feel like they sustain better. You know, I more pick strings for feel than I do for anything else. Because I feel like if I can't, if I can't get the strings to, if the guitar doesn't feel good, then I don't play good, you know? Having said that, sometimes heavy strings, depends on what you're trying to do. Like I picked up Josh Smith's guitar and it had 13s on it, and then actually I kind of liked it. It's like, yeah, they're super heavy, but it makes you play a certain way, and if the action's low enough, it's not like you're picking up an acoustic, it's a different feel. It's like, it makes you kind of just play different, and I sort of liked it. I don't know. So, but Sir says no cover charge. What kind of name is that? Where did it come from? The answer is, who knows out there? Somebody's going to get it right away. What's the answer? What kind of name is Sir? How many Nunneber pedals does Pete Thorn have? I want to buy one, says SD Design. I've got a few. They're super nice. Anthony says he just picked up a PT15. Awesome job on the amp. He loves it. Any suggestions for a 112? Love the 212 cab, but just looking for a smaller option for smaller gigs. I'd probably get something with a V30 in it. Maybe just a Sir Badger 112, load it with a V30 or a Vet 30. It'd be a great cab for small gigs. And then you can still run direct with your IRs and cab sims to go to the house. You don't have to mic it. Just use the cab for your little on-stage monitoring. A V-type could be cool too, or you know, Creamback H actually might sound really, really good, I would think, in a 112 with it. So that's some options. But yeah, I'd probably just get the matching Badger cab because it'll look great under the head. It'll be the exact same size. Yeah. Rarely hear someone use the word obtrusive. Did I use it? I don't even remember when, says Jim. I probably did. I like words like that. Obtrusive. Obtuse, not the same word, but sounds similar. Different meaning. I'm not being obtuse, am I? I'm not being obtrusively obtuse. Wine is always appropriate. I'm finishing a bottle here, says BC Rich 581. You must be in Europe. Cheers to you. Delicious. 227 people online. Did I go to Paul McCartney's childhood home while I was in Liverpool? No, but I did stop by his music school, where he attended school, and now he owns it. And next door is John Lennon's art college, so that was really cool. And I went by the Cavern, and went to the Beatles Museum. Those are the Beatles things I did there. I'll be back there in January anyway, so I'll get another chance. SD Design says, we like when Brittany is on Pete Thorn videos. Yes, Brit videos are the shiz. She's good, right? And she, you know, she edited that one too, and her editing's pretty cute, right? It's like all the little like, you know what I'm talking about. She's got kind of funny, you know, the way she does all the editing. It's just, that's her style and stuff, and it's unique and cool, I think. Hey Pete, great chat. Any plans to come to New York City with your own music or guitar clinic, says Old Shove. I'd love to. We've talked about it. My friend Dennis was going to try and organize a kind of an independent clinic there. There's not really, like, for whatever reason, like the appropriate Sir dealer in that area for us to hook up with and do that. But we'll figure out something, I think, and do something around New York. Yeah. I had some, by the way, guys, I had some scheduled for the end of October on the East Coast. We've moved those now to November, just a couple weeks later. So it was just a little bit scheduling madness, and they got moved to November. So, but they are happening. I believe that's like North Carolina and Baltimore and somewhere else. Can't remember on the other one. Pittsburgh, maybe. I think those are the three that are happening at that time. Hey Pete, what are your favorite YouTube guitar gear shows? says Super Gigawatt. Gear shows on YouTube. Well, I like Tone Talk a lot, and I always try and chime in there and stuff and hang out. And it's not just a gear show, I guess. It's Dave on there and Mark talking to like the Steve Vai one was exceptional. I've been talking about it at my clinic actually. We're referencing where Steve talks about using his phone to record ideas. So he doesn't forget songwriting ideas and riffs and things. Yeah. What else we got here? Let's see. Who else do I like? Gear shows while I'm looking for other stuff. I mean, I love the That Pedal Show guys. They're my buds at this point. Yeah, Stealth Parrot says That Pedal Show is cool. Yeah, they're super fun. For gear specifically, though, I'm having a hard time at the moment thinking of others. Who's that fellow Johan that makes the videos? Is that how you pronounce his name? I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, or maybe that's not even his name. I'm just remembering. Is that the guy that loves Marshalls? You know who I'm talking about. He does such great videos. They're kind of fun. No cover charge. Says, Sir, nickname for a bitter, cantankerous person. Middle Low German, Sir, sour. German habitation name from a place so named in... What? Wow, that's a lot of information. It's John's from Denmark. So, yeah. The name, as far as I know, is Danish. Yeah. Holland is only a part of the Netherlands, it says. I know, I don't have that straight. It's almost embarrassing. I don't really understand what's Holland and what's Netherlands, but I just say Netherlands now. Every now and then I say Holland. All people said in the 70s was Holland, isn't that right? I don't know. I should know more. I'm sitting in it. Have I ever played through a Roland GP 100? I'm thinking of holding on to mine. It's the last remnant of my old rack, but I still think it sounds awesome, even with its first generation modeling. Hey, if it works, it works. It's like nothing wrong with it if it sounds good. That is for sure. Come to Chicago Music Exchange for one of your Sir clinics. That's John. Are they a Sir dealer? I think they might be, right? Hey, I'd love to. I would truly love to. I'll talk to the guys about that. See if we can get there. Okay. Just purchased the Cali 76, says David. You said they came out with a new version. I think it's like a dual Cali 76, like two of them stacked into one another or something like that. I can't remember. I have it at my studio. It's just another. I wouldn't worry about it. It's like if you've got one and you like it, just roll with it. I used the old one on my pedal board for ages. It's super cool. John says he's his first time locking tuner owner. When stringing up a Sir, do you line the string up through the nut right into the tuning post? Seen a few people do it differently. I just stick it right through and line the hole up right through, pull it tight so that I'm pulling the string taut and it's just a straight line, tighten the thing, and then I tune up, and then there's generally only like a quarter wrap or a half a wrap around the post by that point when I tune it up. That's how I do it. Yeah, works good for me. Yep. Slows down your bending with big strings, says Buzz. Yep, that's true. It's kind of a nice thing. Can make you sound a little more like you're playing with like a lot of intent or something, Braxall says, I'd like you to come to the Fort Worth, Dallas area. They have Guitar Sanctuary. They are a Sir dealer. Would love to. I was just in Austin recently and it was fun. Super fun. Immersive School, says SD Design from Nunabur. I agree. Great pedal. I haven't played a bad Nunabur pedal. They're all pretty rad. Who am I playing with now, says GP Pa. Well, I'm still like a member of the Choshi Negabuchi. That's been my main touring gig since 2014. So I go to Japan and play with him sometimes. I've been gigging with the Ultimate Queen Celebration, which is Mark Martell's band, the guy that is so incredible at singing Freddie Mercury. And I have 3 gigs coming up with them in October, pretty quick here. Possibly more after that, actually, maybe even like a full run down. I actually can't talk about it because I don't think it's booked yet. Might happen, might not, depending. They have a regular guitar player. The guy that originally started the band is with all of them is a fellow named Tristan Avakian, a great guitar player. But there's occasions where he can't make it because he's got a lot of gigs. He gigs up in Toronto where he lives, and so he'll sub it out sometimes, and that's when I've done it. So I'm working with them. I'm doing a tour in January, joining some friends in the UK for the classic rock show, which is going to be an amazing set of just crazy, epic tunes. So I'm going to go over and do that in January and the first week of February in the UK, and that's the gigging future for now, for the time being, as well as clinics. I'm talking about more clinics possibly in Asia. So we're working on that, trying to lock down some Asia stuff. We've talked about Asia, we've talked about Australia, we've talked about Scandinavia, and it's working good. So Frederick says, do you speak French? You worked with Mylène Farmer and Polnareff. How do you get in touch with them? How did I get in touch with them? Through a guy in LA. So je parle français un petit peu, extremely petit peu, but I did take it in school growing up. And I worked on it while I'm there, and then I go back and I forget. I can ask for un verre de vin blanc, s'il vous plaît. Où sont les toilettes? After you drink too much wine. I've got a little bit of French, but not that much really. Pete, have you read DLR's latest comments on having done everything creatively for Van Halen, solo melodies, lyrics, striped guitar, etc.? I can't imagine him playing with Van Halen brothers after those words. I haven't read any of that stuff. No, I haven't seen it. He's solo. I mean, solos. It's like, I'm sure he probably like if Eddie would, Ed used to say, let's just, I'm just gonna assume that he said, I picked the solos. It's like Ed always said that he did 5 solos. He said, I don't know, I like them all, you guys pick. So maybe it was like that, where Dave would pick the final one or something. The melodies, he probably did write a lot of the vocal melodies, right? I would think. Lyrics, he definitely wrote the lyrics. We know that. Striped guitar, he might have. Maybe he was like, do something cool with that guitar. Don't play a Sunburst one anymore, do something crazy. Maybe he did suggest it. I don't know. Maybe it's more in the way he says it or something, and it comes off as being kind of, I don't know. Because I'm sure it's, let's face it, Dave had a lot to do with the sound of those records, that's for sure, So did Ed and Al, But that chemistry, they never sounded the same without Dave. It sounded like a different band. I'm not saying it was better or worse or whatever. Some people would have their own opinion on that, but everybody got their own opinion on that, for sure. But it sure didn't sound the same, and the lyrics didn't sound the same and stuff. So we know Dave wrote, I mean, I think he makes a good point. I saw him on a talk show a while ago where he was talking about the difference between him and Sammy, and he said, what am I not talking about? I'm not talking about love, and Sammy more wrote about, kind of, it was a little bit more the love song kind of, When you think about Dave, I mean, I'm taking whiskey to the party tonight, and I'm looking for somebody to squeeze. Dave was a little more dangerous. I like Sammy, and I sure do like him as a guy. I mean, he seems like just the greatest. I've met him. I told you guys my Sammy Hagar story? I tell you guys my Sammy Hagar story if you want to hear it. It was backstage at a Chris Cornell gig in, where the hell were we? In Austria, festival in Austria. And a couple things happened that night. One of them was, I met them before the show because Sutter, our drummer, knew oh my God, I'm totally spacing on his name now, drummer of the Chili Peppers, Chad, of course. And so he brought us all by the dressing room. It was Chickenfoot playing. So he brought us all by the dressing room, and Chad came out and was like, hey man, what's going on? Come on in, you guys. And we all went in. I met Satriani. I met Mike, and it was Mike's birthday. And met Sammy as well. So, and it's like, oh, these guys are Chris Cornell's band or whatever. And it was like, oh, cool, awesome. And, they were just so friendly. So anyways, Chickenfoot played, and at one point Sammy was out on stage doing like a lap steel guitar solo. He would do this thing where he sat down on the stage and kind of play by himself. And Mike came over, and all the guys from Monster Magnet were standing with us. And each one of those guys in Monster Magnet had their own bottle of Jack Daniels, holding a full bottle of Jack Daniels and swigging out of the bottles. And Mike came over, it's Mike's birthday, and he's like, hey, it's my birthday. You know, one of the guys from Monster Magnet handed him the bottle of JD, and Mike just goes like, and I was like, oh my God, this is like my Van Halen like memory from, it was like Mike swigging JD, and everybody was always like it was iced tea or whatever. Well, this wasn't iced tea, and so he brings the bottle in and he goes, oh shit, I haven't done that in about 30 years. He handed the guy back the bottle. Anyway, it was really funny. I remember playing our set and then seeing all those guys backstage. Oh, sorry, it was actually before the gig that I met Sammy, and he said, oh, that's right, because he said, you play with Chris Cornell. That's cool, man. Man, I've always wanted to meet that guy. He just seems like a great guy and a great singer. I got so much respect for him. I said, well, come on, I'll introduce you to him. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, okay. So we go trudging down the hallway, just me and Sammy Hagar, and around the corner to the other, corner where our dressing room was. And we get to the door. I'm like, this is it, man. And I open the door and I go on in. And he looks in, and Chris, he's like, Chris is sitting in there, and he's like warming up for our set. And his wife Vicky was there, and he goes, no, man. He closes the door. He goes, no, man. He's like singing to his wife or something. I can't go in there right now. And I go, dude, he does this every day. He just warms up and stuff and sings before the gig. I go ahead and go in there. He's not going to care. I mean, you're Sammy Hagar, I said. And he goes like, okay. And he opens up the door and he goes, hey, shit, what's going on in here, Cornell? Like really loud. And I'm sure Chris just probably looked up and, amused or whatever. And I was just like laughing outside the room. It was super funny. So anyways, I'm sure they had a good talk. But after the gig, I remember after we played and after Chickenfoot played, Sammy came over to me. I was back in their dressing room, and he came over to me. He goes, hey, man. He goes, thanks for getting me to do that. Because he goes, the reality is, he says, if he would have been a jerk or whatever to me, I wouldn't want to be his fucking friend anyway. And that's from the horse's mouth. That's the true story when I met Sammy Hagar. And I just thought he was a great guy. I don't know. He struck me as really cool and salt of the earth or something. It was a lot of fun. So, okay. What else we got over here? I've been ignoring you guys for a few minutes. We got 260 people online. Mark says, if I buy Thornbuckers, can I order the wiring and switches too? Don't think so. But good question. Possible they might do a wired pickguard situation, but it would be a Sir wired pickguard. I don't know. That's a good question for a dealer. Not sure. No Cover Stars says, I got to see Soundgarden and Audio Slave live. Cornell will be missed. Third best rock singer of all time. Could be number one to some people. He's my bud, and I have, dreams about him weekly, and he never goes away. He's always in my psyche somewhere, that's for sure. And it ain't easy, I'll tell you that. Chris Camp says, if you could hang with Hagar in Cabo, I would probably soil my pants. He's really a lot of fun, isn't he? He seems like a guy that's lived a good life, and that says a lot. Yeah. Sir said they don't do wire harnesses or loaded pickguards. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. But you can buy the pickups individually and just have a good tech do it up. you know. All right. Uh, what else we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Looking for a question or something. The original Van Halen album was jaw-dropping when it came out. A game changer. Agreed. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you know, I started listening to Van Halen probably Diver Down was probably out, and then 1984 came out, and then I remember when the first Sammy album came out. So that was around the time I got into him, around 82, 83, 84. You know, Diver Down, 1984. I was into it. I was a little too young to, you know, even 1980, 81 was when I was getting into music. So I guess it was, Fair Warning was out. I wasn't really aware of Van Halen right then, but I was 10. So it took a year or two before I picked up the guitar, and then I connected with it. That's for sure. And he became my dude. Yeah. The two Van Halen bands were like siblings, related, not the same, says L. Scott Music. That's a good way to put it, actually. You know, I think that there's similarities, but even Eddie's writing style changed. It's interesting. It's kind of like when Paul McCartney did Wings, and I mean, I know it's like a lot more members were different, but he didn't sound like the same guy anymore, like the same songwriter. Wings was so different than the Beatles. I just found that really interesting. Kind of recreated himself as a writer, really. And, you know, I guess a lot of people kind of did that in the 80s. There was a lot of folks that, you guys know Nick Gilder, great Canadian songwriter and singer. And, you know, he was kind of like very like, you know, almost like T-Rex, kind of glammy, cool music. I mean, Hot Child in the City, Roxy Roller, one of his great tunes. Rated X, probably my favorite Nick Gilder song. What a cool tune. And then he did this song called Into the 80s, around 1979. and when you hear it, you're like, what is this? And it's just a really, really funny track, but actually really, I kind of like it because it's so campy, but it's like, I think a lot of people, like when they hit the 80s, let's think, The Heart is a great example, right, of a band completely changing their sound to, you know, they get in the 80s, or Cheap Trick did it too. You know, very similar to what sort of Van Halen did in the 80s. It's similar, so. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Derek says, I preferred Van Halen with Hagar because Sammy can sing. DLR is fucking awful. I don't agree with that. I think Dave was a great singer in his own way. You know it's him, you know, just like Neil Young or Billy Corgan or anybody with a unique voice, you know. And I think Dave actually did some really good singing. I mean, I think that Running with the Devil is a stellar vocal performance. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I've heard it. It's hard for me to be objective because it just sounds like part of my youth at this point. So I wouldn't know, you know, otherwise. So, but okay, here's a technical question. Christopher Butler says, when I track guitar parts using my Apollo, whether using plugins or mics, do I also record a parallel direct signal for possible reamping later, or do I commit to the tone? I commit to the tone. I never do the parallel direct thing. Never. Nope. I just don't. Some producers that I've worked with do, but I just want to commit to it. I want to get the sound as it's going down, get excited. The tone as it's going down kind of makes me excited about the playing and the song. And so if I was just getting kind of an average tone and going, oh, I'll fix it later, I feel like I wouldn't play the same. But a lot of producers, they'll take a DI just in case they want to reamp. Kind of interesting. Rest in peace, says ST Design to Rick Ocasek. Agreed. I love his songs. Drive, All I Can Do, just what I needed, classic. Even his solo stuff. I love the Cars, man, and I love Elliot Easton and his cool guitar solos that were so appropriate. You know, it's a lot of what I try and do is influenced by, I feel like, that approach. Like those, you know, just what I needed. That amazing kind of rockabilly solo is so cool. It's a perfect solo. Obviously written and kind of, you know, but that's fine. It was, can't imagine the song without that solo. I met Rick once working at, I feel like I'm name dropping in this one, but I did, so I'm going to tell the damn story because it's my show. I met him at the Cello Studios in LA when I was in there working on a project. It was actually the same time that Audioslave was in. I didn't know Chris then, but Audioslave was in doing the first Audioslave record. And Rick Ocasek was doing something in the studio as well. And I remember him standing outside having a smoke, and I probably had a smoke too, since I used to. But standing outside on the balcony of the, you know, and saying hello to him and stuff, and just having some pleasantries for a minute, talking to him and stuff. He seemed really quiet but cool, you know, he was cordial. Have I had a chance to play a NoHo 24? The Les Paul scale Super Strat is kind of interesting and certainly very rare. Knight's one is the only other I know of, says Eric Johnson. 24 and 3/4 scale Strat style guitars. There was a Larry Carlton played for a while a Valley Arts that was 24 and 3/4. That's another one I can think of. Of course, a Jaguar is 24 and 3/4. Super Strat, but some of them have humbuckers on them and stuff that you can get from Fender, and that'll be 24 and 3/4. It's getting noisy over there. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. I hope it's not too much background noise. Has Thornley asked you to come play for Big Rec, says Matt Fisher. No, I wish. I don't know who they've got. I would be there in a heartbeat if he wanted me to do it. You know, my guess is that I live... is that too noisy, guys? Let me know. Somebody tell me if that conversation is bugging you, if it's making it hard for you to hear me. Voice is quite clear. Okay, cool. I'm not going to worry about it then. Sounds really loud to me as people talking. My guess is, you know, they're a Toronto-based band, and they probably, if they're going to have somebody playing guitar with them for tour and stuff, rehearsal, they probably find one of their friends in Toronto, I would think, you know, just for... I'm sure he knows lots of great musicians up there where he's from and stuff. But I'd love to do anything with Ian at some point. You know, if he wants to, I'm there. We'll make it happen. Let's see here. Funny you should say that. There's a video on YouTube with Dave's vocal only running with the devil, and the screams he could do were so unique and just fit the songs perfect. Yeah, totally. If you listen to his vocals in isolation, I think he's just kick ass. You know, always tell the story. Says El Scott Music. It's half of why we were here. Cool. Who is the most underrated guitarist? We did this on Rick Beato's thing once, where we did a live stream and when we were in Germany together and talked about underrated guitar players. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's start it. Underrated guitar players. I would go with maybe Ian Thornley. That's a good place to start. That guy could use a lot more props. Who else? Underrated guitar players. From like the 70s and stuff. Well, Keith Scott, I would say, is, you know, from Bryan Adams. He's like the Canadian Mike Campbell to me. Just awesome. Ryan Too Loud McLeod from the Headpins. Yeah. DLR can't sing now. He sings hoarsely, while Sammy can still knock the notes out. I disagree with that as well. I think Dave just does this thing where he thinks he has to sing super high all the time. It's like, you don't have to do that. Just keep your voice in it. There's many times when if you really analyze some of the shows where he's singing and he was like doing all this high screechy stuff, it doesn't sound good. It's like, well, actually the melody in that part is not that high, and I didn't understand what he was going for, you know. The last time I saw those guys was 2015 at the Hollywood Bowl, and some songs he was great. Other ones, what are you doing? You know, but I don't know. But the band was sure hot. Ed played great. You know, he was killing it. Yeah. What are you gonna do, you know? Van Halen 1 blew my mind and inspired me to learn guitar. Me too. So, as you guys probably know, Dave's got a residency coming up at the, or somewhere in Vegas. I don't know where exactly. But somebody's saying almost like William Shatner thing. What's that? Anybody hear William Shatner's solo album from like 2003 or 4 that he did with Ben Folds? It's amazing. It's one of my favorite records of all time. I love that. You're gonna die. Just check it out. It's my favorite song. It's incredible. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the Vegas residency. And I have heard the band. I don't know who's in it. Okay, I know one guy, but I don't know anybody else that's in it. Because I know where they were rehearsing, and I'm by there sometimes. And I heard them rehearsing, and whoever's playing guitar is ripping, killing it. Sounds great. So, coming from me, you guys know I'm a Van Halen nut. Whoever's in there on guitar, I think he's young, and he's hungry, and he sounds like it, and he's knocking it out of the park. So, go see it. I don't know if you want to hear the tunes. Sounds great, but. Preston says, Pete Thorn, your guitar style reminds me of Jeff Waters. He's another good Canadian. More people need to hear the magic. He's underrated, probably. Vito Bratta is underrated. Not that day Vito wasn't. It's just people don't remember now. You know what the thing about White Lion is the songs were kind of goofy or whatever. I'm not a big fan of the material, but Vito I was a big fan of. You want to hear my Vito Bratta story? I'm not shitting you. When I first moved to LA, Vito Bratta lived in my apartment building. He was there, well, it was at Oakwood, so a lot of people that have ever been to LA and stayed there for a short period of time might know the Oakwood apartments, which is like corporate housing kind of. And they would put up a ton of bands. Nirvana stayed in the Oakwoods when they made Nevermind. So it was like you'd get an apartment, it was a massive complex, like kind of on the border of sort of like Hollywood and Burbank, basically. And this big old complex with, multiple, like a store and swimming pools and stuff. It's just a big mess, really. And anybody who's ever lived there knows that it's a big anthill and everybody had ant problems. But I digress. I lived in unit U107 at the Oakwood Apartments, and Vito Bratta, I think, lived in V or W107 maybe. And I saw him a couple times, and I would be like, I was really into his guitar playing, and I thought he was great. So I was like, I just got into LA, and I was like, hey man, like what's going on? Wow, Vito Bratta, I can't believe he lives in my apartment building. And he would be nice enough, kind of entertain that. Well, one day I got a piece of his mail because I had a similar address, right? I was U107, he was probably V or W. And so what happened? I went over and knocked on his door. And he probably looked through the hole in the door and saw it was me. He wasn't happy. What the fuck do you want? Go away, leave me alone. Like that. I think he was on the phone, like having a fight with his girlfriend or something. I don't know, because I could hear he was not in a good mood. I was just like, I got a piece of your mail. I was just bringing it over. And he opens the door and he goes, oh, sorry, thanks. Takes the mail and closes the door. That might be the last time I ever saw him, actually. I was like, okay. Walks back over to U107 and forgot about Vito Bratta after that. I wasn't very impressed. I could have just torn up the mail or kept it, but no, I took it to him and he sort of bitched me out. Yeah. Anyways. Do you have to use Celestion IRs in the PT15 or will any IR do? Any good IR will sound great in it. Yeah, you can use your own. They got to be mono. So you got to, if they're stereo or anything like that, you got to bounce them down. But yeah, you can use any IR in the PT15. It'll work great. Let's see here. The Wait solo may be one of the best of that genre. I would agree with that. It's an amazing solo. I learned at one point I could play it note for note. All the tapping and all that business. Solo on Little Fighter is amazing. I can't even remember that one right now, but I can remember the Wait solo. I can hear it in my head right now with all the octave tapping, and it's really melodic. And Ben Eller just taught me the solo to Wait. Never thought I'd ever be able to play that one note for note. Ben is amazing. Agreed, that's Stephen Douglas. But really, as I remember, it's not that hard of a solo. It's not like super fast or anything. It's just incredibly melodic. I mean, there's some technique involved because of the tapping and stuff, but it's just a really beautiful solo, I think, right? I mean, it's not like playing the solo to Shy Boy or something like that. But great guitar playing, definitely. Seems like Vito just wanted to play guitar and be left alone, says Chris. Yeah, who wouldn't, you know? I'm sure if some kid, 19-year-old kid was knocking on my door, I'd probably be like, well, no, I wouldn't. But I would probably be like, hey, like, can you not come over to my apartment just because you know I live here or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, it's probably be a little weird. But then if he was like, well, I got your mail and I know you live here, so I'm in the next building, then I'd probably be like, oh, I'm really sorry, you know? I don't know. He probably thought it was creepy or something. But I knew where he lived anyway. He told me. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just over in that building at one point or whatever when I was talking to him. So all kinds of people live in that building. I remember Ray Gillen was there from Badlands. And I'd go out to the swimming pool, he'd be sitting there at the pool, and you'd be like, hey dude, you know, you'd hang out, you know, sit there by the pool and go for a swim or whatever. Aldo Nova from Canada was staying in that building too when I was there. All kinds of rock stars came through, actors and all kinds of people. And then right after I moved out, Nirvana, because they in '91, I guess probably they made Nevermind. It came out in '92, right? So, yeah, Bob Mould is my doesn't get enough props guitarist. I would agree with that, says Wendell, for sure. Chicago power pop band Off Broadway is underrated. John Ivan, geez, I've never heard of that band. They opened for Cheap Trick on Dream Police tour. Great melodic lines, so tasty, cool. Who else is underrated? Who else? Have I tried a Comet amp? Man, I've owned 2 Comet amps. I used to use them on tour with, I auditioned for Chris Cornell with a Comet amp. It was the only amp I took, my Concorde KT50. And then I used it on tour for the whole first year. So I love Comet, I love Hoagie, he's great. Terrific amps, man. Really great. Let's see. SD Design said, is Britt flying over later to join me? Actually, she is. She's going to come. Oh, there's somebody up in the top chat up there. Who's that? Thanks for being you. It's Joe in the top chat. Joe got the top chat to work finally. Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. Hey, you can do these crazy characters in there now? I didn't know you could do that. That's like a new thing. It's like a little guy with a maraca. Anyway, thanks, Joe. Really appreciate it. Too kind. Is Britt flying over, says SD Design. She's going to come over to Italy for a bit. So I'm finishing up in Italy and I'm going to hang there for a couple days afterwards. Not too long, just 2 days. And chill out before I actually got to fly back to the UK for 1 day, and then I come home after that. It's hitting the right pitch for each of those bends. Yeah, that's right. That is kind of tough. Yeah, it takes that practice on the Vito Bratta solo. I remember that now. Well, damn, I have to go watch a White Lion video. Says no cover charge. Do it. What else we got here? Welcome to the Netherlands. Hope you're enjoying your stay, says Story and Melody. I certainly am. Can't complain. This has been a lot of fun. We got 278 people online. We're about 83 minutes in. I'll go till about, I don't know, hour and 45 or something like that. Just saw your Amps in the Zone Super Lead video. I was blown away by how much the mics changed the tone for the Van Halen stuff. You know, I just did some stuff in that studio up at in the UK, Decoy Sound, and the interesting thing is for what I was doing there, we were using one of those robotic mic mounts where you can move the microphone in the tiniest increments, and it's on a stand, and it's an app. And so you can exactly recreate where the mic was in a certain session and stuff. And the mic's moving around with a motor, forward and back, in all axes. And man, I really took away from that. Like, it's like I got to get one of these things because you move the mic just a hair, especially a 57. I mean, they're the worst offender. A ribbon mic's more forgiving, way more. Condenser is somewhere between the two. Whoops, damn it. iPad fell off the stand here. One sec, guys. But anyways, the point is that I took away from that I have to get one of those things because the, the sound changes so much, and it's so dependent on the mic position, and it really is like this EQ that is. How the hell does this thing work? What am I doing wrong here? I've got my stand all muddled up. All right. Sorry. There we go. Okay, screw that thing. I'm just going to hold the iPad. Damn it. Sorry. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, mic mount thing. It's amazing, how much just and the angle, man. I mean, because you can pivot the mic too. So the 57 forward, this way. Anybody watching this without the sound is gonna go, "What the hell are you doing?" But it changes the sound like, is it the Dynamount? I think that's the thing, says Mike. I mean, it's absolutely, it's just shocking how the minute movements on that thing with the angle of the mic and everything. And it was great because we could use that thing and really fine tune in the mics for what I was doing. But it's a massive, massive, massive difference. So, it really matters. It really also taught me, I mean, even more so about the things about IRs, like where the IR is, repeatable. Like your tone, if you're just placing a 57 in front of your amp every night, it's going to be different night to night and dramatically different. And we all know that, but like moving the microphone around, it's literally like, going from 5 till 8 on the treble when you're moving it like, that much towards the cone, like a half a centimeter or something. It's a lot. Greta Van Fleet, do I like Jake Kizka's guitar playing? Is that how you say it? Kizka's. I don't. We'll see what about their next record, and then get back to me after they do another record. Fender Squier Custom Vibe Stratocaster or Tele. Oh, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. Sorry. What's my quiet practice rig? Well, the PT15 with headphones. Great. Either that or I'll use my UA interface and just plug in. Quite often I'll just plug into the PT50 or PT100 plug-in from UA now. Because I just dial that up on a track, and then, it's great. You can store a setting in UA console with a little bit of delay and reverb or whatever, and have a great little practice setup. I could do that out here. I could go up to my room right now and plug in my little interface and have that dialed up. So it's pretty cool. I didn't know Aldo was Canadian. One hit, but still they had it. Yeah, he was a piece of work. He was a funny guy, kind of like he was a rock star. I'll say that, out by the pool, hanging with that guy, and he was talking about, I can't remember. This is going back 30 years, but he was like, "Yeah, I know. I guess this is glamorous, this rock and roll." I can't. He was just like going on and on about. He just kind of had I think he was saying it was like his last kick in the can or something like that. Like, yeah, man, if this one doesn't hit, then I'm just gonna hang it up and go do something else or something. I don't know. It was 1990, so. Anyways, he was a funny guy. I don't really remember him that well, to be honest. But, I'm down at the bottom of the chat, and what else is going on down here? Got to go in a few minutes, but didn't want to miss the stream, says Preston. Good to have you here, man. Life is just a fantasy, yeah. That melody going down. That was a cool tune. Great guitar solo. I actually played that with Took a few years ago. I did that cover gig. Why are my messages coming up 2 times, says Joe? I don't know. Could be wacky hotel internet or something. You never know. Do you like the Boss MD500? Is that the modulation one? I haven't actually tried that one. I can't offer too much of an opinion on that. Did I learn anything from playing guitar from Chris Cornell? That's a good question. I learned a lot of things from Chris Cornell, but playing guitar, I would say probably the main thing that I took away from him was the crazy tunings that they used to do. They're sort of fearless, like put the guitar in such a weird tuning that you might not even think of it. Like literally you had to change strings on the guitar to get the right gauges to work with a lot of those Soundgarden tunings because the guitar would have 2 low E strings and things. So that kind of experimentation I never thought about before meeting him, and realizing that's what they were doing. And he would do that on, it's the same tuning, by the way, but up a half step. So the whole thing up a half step on Sun Shower, as would be on My Wave and Day I Tried to Live, for example. So those tunes would be E, E, B, 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 E, and the other one's F, F, C, 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 F. Okay, so roots and fifths, basically. But I never thought of doing that kind of thing where, you'd have to replace the A string with another E string, E gauge, 6 string, and you have to replace the G string with a B gauge string because it went up to C. So it was too high to tune the 3rd string up to. And they would do that stuff. Kind of interesting. Just really creative, I guess, is what it was. In which city are you staying? I'm in Oman right now. Oman. Yeah, till tomorrow. Small town. I went and checked out. What was the name of the town? Come on, you guys, tell me where I was today. Zuela? Zuela? Is that right? I think I'm tired. Getting tired. Burden in My Hand kicks ass. That's a great tuning too. Ever play slide? A little bit. Yeah, sure. I've played slide. I used to play with Melissa Etheridge some slide, and with Henley I used to do the, like Life in the Fast Lane. Down, 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 down. That lick I'd do and slide. I love Chris Cornell's way he writes vocal melodies as Robbie Rose. He's different to almost every other singer. Yeah, Chris, his melodic sense was so powerful. Like over a track, like when you really hear it is over 4th of July, or a song like Zero Chance. These tracks that would be very difficult for most singers to write a melody over. And his melodies were not only did he write a melody, he wrote an exceptional melody that tied the whole thing together, made it make sense. Because without his melody, it just would be a really, like proggy sounding thing. So Metalhead Hippie says, peace, people gotta go. Later, Pete. See you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging. I appreciate it. First sign of being a rock star, ask your fans where you were today. Zwalla. I remember now. I'm just tired. That's all. Also saying it's spelled like Zwelle, and so you have to say Zwalla, I guess, right? It's like, complicated. Hands all over, I always thought was underrated. Agreed, says Mike. Don Henley told me to shut up once. I was heckling his Walden Wood speech from the 3rd row. Well, you had it coming, didn't you? And yes, he will do that. Not only will he do that, if you're filming him, he will point at you and tell you to put that camera away. I can't argue with his methods. It's like he's a serious guy, and when you're at one of his things, he wants the respect and to command the attention and stuff. And the heckling thing is so it's interesting to see how different people deal with it. It is just so annoying to me, like when somebody's up there doing your thing, you've paid to go see them, or they've got the floor, like give them the floor. I don't like it when people start shouting and from the, I don't know, I'm not cool with it. But I guess if it's protest and it's a politician or something, it's one thing, but a Walden Wood speech, why would you do that? It's a really good cause. I don't know. What's an underrated Chris Cornell tune? Well, that's a good question. Well, let's go straight to the Scream album. A lot of people took issues with that album, but I think there's some really good songs on it. I think Climbing Up the Walls is a really good song. I think that album would have done better now, had it come out now, because pop is so big, so I don't think it would have been such a stretch for people now, to be honest. Maybe some of the songs still would be, but Climbing Up the Walls was a really good song. What are some other ones? Like off other records. Let me think. Killing Birds was a pretty cool song. Off of the Carry On album. Worried Moon. A lot of the songs on Higher Truth, I mean, that whole album, if you haven't really listened to it, it's such a good album. It's really powerful lyrically, too. Zero Chance is one of my absolute favorites, Soundgarden tunes, and it's not one that I ever hear people mention, but I really connected with it for some reason, I don't know why. And I loved playing it live. I loved learning it and playing it live and just closing my eyes and say, if you look hard, just get into it. Find your way back home. I'd close my eyes and just play and listen to him sing, kind of, just put my head back. It was magic to me. I'll send you some stuff from Dave Hills and his history with Soundgarden and Chris, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. Cool. I'd love that. It's sad that at his service that was the time where I had to hear some stories from Kim Thale and Jeff Ament and those guys about, those days and growing up and some of the things, about Chris that were said that day and the stories that were told and stuff. It was like, that's really unfortunate. Unfortunate beyond words that this is how we get together and talk about this stuff, because I would have loved to have heard some of those stories under different circumstances. Anyways, somebody, Eddie is up in the top chat. Thanks, bud. I love these new little characters that dance around. That's fun. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Good man, Pete, says Joe. Thanks. I try and live in the light and do the best I can. I do. I dig the duet with Miley for the CC tribute. Ironic that even as a woman out of her range shows the amazing pipes Chris had. Yeah, we did it in the same key. That it was just an A minor. She killed it. I loved playing with Miley at that thing. I was just talking about that today actually with somebody. How confident she was, and it was not the easiest thing in the world, that event. Just from a few different perspectives, it was hard actually. But Miley actually made it really fun for me. Not really fun, that's the wrong way to put it, being inappropriate. But the moment on stage with her was really fun. And it was because she knocked me out of I was in a funk that night just because of obvious reasons. I was like, I wish we weren't all fucking here, doing this. Like, I wish this was not an event at all, was my feeling. But we kind of have to be here, I guess, because what else are we going to do at this point? But Miley was so, I don't know, she's just funny. I'd never met her before that day, but we had fun. And when she came out and just kind of on stage, just stumbled. They announced her and she wasn't going out, so I walked out there because I was like, well, I got to get there and get my guitar plugged in. This is at the Forum. It's like, big. I've got my guitar and a DI, and it was like, they announced her name and she didn't walk out. I didn't know where she was, so I thought, well, shit, I'm going. And then as I'm doing it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not Miley Cyrus, and I'm walking out here, and then this is just going to be confusing. And then she ran behind me, and she said, like, she was, I'm here, sorry. And then she ran out, and I got plugged in, and she's like, how you guys doing? Like, whatever, she said, and wow, what an event. And she's like, okay, let's do this, and just her confidence or something was just, I found it like really endearing, and she kicked in this tune. We had a really nice vibe, I felt like, and we didn't talk that much or anything like that, but she was just cool. I don't know, it was a good vibe. I was like, this chick's rad, I like her actually, like, pretty cool. Why won't Yngwie play rock and roll? I don't know, I guess it's just not in his DNA. I mean, he plays his version of rock and roll, but yeah. Tom says, I hate when people film the whole concert on their phone instead of watching it. I would agree with that, my friend. I sure would. Temple of the Dog is the best CC record, hands down, says Sebastian. I mean, it's a great one, for sure. And, you know, he loved it. I mean, we used to play Reach Down. That was always epic and really fun. And he loved playing that song. We did some others. We did Sail Out of Heaven, Reach Down, and Hunger Strike. But I can't remember. I'm sure we must have done something else off that record, but I just don't remember right now. I was just listening to Seasons today, which is an awesome song and a weird tuning also. Yes, it is. Not that it's, I'm even sure what the tuning is. I can't remember right now, to tell you the truth, but you can see me playing it on that video from us in the dressing room in Chile, I think, in Santiago. And there's a version of us that somebody had a camera and they were filming us playing Seasons. And I'm so glad, because it's a really cool kind of reflection of our band in that period, and just the camera, and we're just jamming, you know, band of dudes just having a good time, and I don't know, it was fun. Miley got heckled uncomfortably numb this weekend, says Todd in Charlotte. Yeah, I heard she did that. What was that for? I wonder what that was for. I heard she did that and some other song, right? Some classic rock stuff, but I don't know where she was or what she was doing, so. Pete Thorn, never seen so many bikes? Yeah, I know, that's Black Country Blues. So many bikes here in the Netherlands, it's crazy. Which is awesome. And I mean, everybody's riding a bike and everybody's pretty fit. And it's just like old people, young people, everybody's on a bike. And it's so cool. Zwolle, well pronounced, says Jord. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a great city. What a gorgeous city. Lefty's up in the top chat. He says, you just got a Rev D20. He's a bedroom player, likes to record sometimes. I feel like this whole IR torpedo thing is a deep, deep rabbit hole. I spend too much time tweaking. Any advice? Well, I like the torpedo stuff. It's my one complaint is that there's a lot of IRs, which isn't really a problem. It's just a reflection of the nature of, that's the way they've gone with their stuff. What I would recommend is find one or two that you like and then quit tweaking, you know, because that's a pretty simple amp. It's just a one channel amp. With the PT15, we sort of aim to, you know, keep you out of that rabbit hole by just giving you 16 IRs. You can pick the ones you want to use, and they all, you know, they sound pretty damn good. Just dial up the one you want, store it on the channel on the amp, and that's it, you know. And then if you want to hook up the thing to your computer and change the IRs, you can, but it's not a necessity by any means. And I think that for the most part, I wouldn't worry about it, you know. I would just roll with the stock, you know, ones that are in there, and find ones that sound good. There seems to be something for everybody in there, so. Let's see here. What else we got here? Kind of want something else in the way of a beverage. You guys want to join me on a journey to the pub? See if I can find something else. Just gonna get my butt up here. Let's change locales. Why not? Somebody else is in the top chat. Get that as I'm walking down the hallway. It's Mike. Mike says some concerts now don't allow phones, lock them up in pouches. Called Yonder. Seems excessive, but I agree with the sentiment. Raconteurs. Right, I heard the Raconteurs were doing that. Kind of like that. It's cool. Uh-oh, the video went off. That's not good. I don't know why it did that. You guys still with me? I think it's still working. Seems to be okay. Let's go in the pub. Get a little bit different environment. Go in the other corner here. Why not? Why not, right? We'll mix it up. Get a little bit different environment going here. I need a glass of water, maybe one more beverage. Still good? Everybody can still see me? Hope so. El Pubbo. Still working from Texas. Good. Ben Combs says still good. Good, good, good. Just don't stream and drive. Yep, still here, says Jason. All right. So the no phones at concerts thing. I mean, that's a thing with Tyoshi Nagabuchi. We don't have any phones at the shows, and that's just a Japan rules thing, and they're just cool with it. What's playing in the background? I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay? Still hear me okay? It's just like music's on pretty low, but Lefty Mike. Oh, yeah, already answered the questions about the D. Honestly, with the D20, I would say just find one or two you like. I'll give you a good greenback option with the torpedoes. The Nuno Betancourt 412 cabinet is a great greenback cab, and I think I can't remember the microphone I liked, but I think it was like a U87 or something. Anyways, try the 57s, try the U87, but try that Nuno Betancourt. It's a Randall 412 with greenbacks, and that one sounded really good to me. So, McAllen on the wall behind you seems like a nice place. Yeah, it's just a little pub. Service is a little lacking. I'll have to get a drink in this bar. There's peanuts. See what I can get here. No, not gonna happen. Okay. No. You know when there's like 3 people working in a place and there's only like 4 people sitting in a place? And... Hello. Hi. Could I just get a glass of water and... You guys don't have any cider, do you? Cider? Yeah, maybe we got apple cider. Oh yeah? Sure, I actually put that up for you. Okay, cool. Thank you. And would you like the water? Yeah, just take a water as well, please. Yeah, no gas water, just still water. Right? Just still water's fine. Thanks. Okay, let's see. Ever played through a 410 with modern greenback 10s? Never a 410. That's Shinny Obese. But I do have a greenback 10 in my little baby Marshall cabinet. It's those ones that came from in the 80s. They had those little like micro stacks. Remember those? And I bought a 410 cab a while ago for $70 used because it would go under my little 1-watt Marshall head pretty well. It doesn't look exactly the same. The piping's different on my 1-watt head. It's gold instead of, but anyways, it's still cool. But the speaker in the 110 sounded terrible. And so I got, my Dutch is fantastic, thanks. So I got a greenback 10 and put it in there and transformed the cabinet. It sounded 10 times as good. So I highly recommend the greenback 10. I can't imagine that it would sound bad in like a basement or something. It'd probably sound great. Okay, what else we got? Can't wait till NAMM says SD Design. I am not going to be there, unfortunately, because I got to go on tour. Gas water, says Tom. That's like, sparkling. Thank you, good sir. A little dehydrated. Get this going on. All right. How was the clinic yesterday? Couldn't be there, sadly enough. It was awesome, and that store was just beautiful. Incredible place. The Fellowship of Acoustics. Amazing. Tom's in the top chat. He says, I thought vintage Strats were always the same as custom shop Strats sound-wise until 2 days ago. Now I'm selling a ton of stuff to try to buy one. You know, I'm going to do a video pretty soon on this exact subject on, like, are vintage different? Because I'll tell you this much, the guitars that most people comment on, yeah. I will be right back. Yeah. Sorry. Hopefully I'm back and it's cool now. It'll stay steady. Let me know if it seems okay, guys. Good on my end. And can't hear. Your back says Ben. Everything cool? Tom, can you hear me? Let me know if it's working. Back. Okay, cool. Good. Yeah, for whatever reason, it just crapped out all of a sudden. It seemed like it was fine. Anyways, the vintage guitars are the ones that most people comment on most of the time, for whatever reason. The 335, my old Strat, people are always like, that guitar sounds amazing. So, I don't know, there's something to that. So, am I buzzed having a good time, says Braxall? Maybe just a little. Had a couple glasses of wine. I'm gonna have a cider now if they have one. I'm kind of thinking the guy's gonna go look and then he's not gonna find one. That's my guess. Maybe I'll have to order up another one, something else. All right, what else we got here? Good now, although audio isn't matching mouth. Well, hopefully it's not gonna crap out again. If it does, I'll pay for my beverage and get out of here and go back where the internet was better. Could just be like Wi-Fi in the building, you know. Might be too far or something. Marty V says he played 2 Martins and an Eastman and an Atkins at Fellowship of Acoustics. Got some gas now. Yeah, I know. It's a hell of a store. Just for those that are just tuning in now, Fellowship is where I did my clinic yesterday, and it's this old 1870s, you know, incredible home that built into a guitar store. And so if you can imagine these great big high ceilings and these ornate rooms, and you can go in there and play acoustic guitars, and they've got the walls full of guitars, you know, all this old furniture. It's really cool.
We ain't got any cider, unfortunately. So
okay.
No apple cider this time.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'll just take a glass of wine, maybe like Pinot Noir or something.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay.
You would like that?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thoughts on mixing, running a guitar speaker and bass speaker in my bass 5 baritone rig. Should I bother or just use a guitar cab? Guitar speaker and bass speaker in my bass 6 baritone rig. You kind of want to use, if you like, probably like a bass rig and a guitar rig for the coolest thing, I would say. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's the guys that have the most success with, if we're going for what I think you're saying you're going for, you know, like blending a Marshall-y sort of top end and then a Ampeg kind of low end is really the coolest thing. You might want to look at the, I guess maybe you've already got an amp though, is that right? You might want to look at like the Doug Pinnick amp from Tech 21. I think it's kind of cool because I loved his pedal when he came by. We did a video for his pedal. It was really cool, and the whole, you know, mixing distortion with low end thing, he's got that down to a science. And it's all in the pedal. It just sounds like his tone. It's so cool. But anyway, he's got a Tech 21 head that's got that stuff blended in it. That might sound amazing. But you're asking about speakers, so sorry, I digress. I don't know. Yeah, dude, that music, says Mike. I know, right? What is this tune? It's kind of rad, right? So weird. All right. Here goes at Pete Thorn. Nice, man. Lots of fun. Wish we could all join you for a drink. Hey, Braxall, I wish you could too. And in a way, you kind of are. Cheers. One more glass of wine, and I'm done for the night. And go upstairs and turn on the TV and zone out for the rest of the night. Simply Red. I don't think it's Simply Red. Want to hear a good Chris Cornell story? One time he texted me and he goes, dude, I'm at the gym and there's a smooth jazz version of Holding Back the Years On. And sweet Jesus, it's smooth. Where's that come from? Sweet Jesus, that's smooth. You know where that comes from? Who watches Yacht Rock? I turned Chris Cornell onto Yacht Rock and he turned me on to Flight of the Conchords. He's like, you don't know what Flight of the Conchords is? You gotta see Flight of the Conchords, dude. Start with the Bowie one. I turned him on to Yacht Rock, and Sweet Jesus It's Smooth became a running joke after that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget a text. I'm at the gym, Simply Red, Holding Back the Years, smooth jazz version is on the PA. Sweet Jesus It's Smooth. That was a good text. All right. Must be some sort of Dutch black metal bar. Nope. Dude, you should hold the glass by the stem at the base. No, that's white wine, Marty. You tried to bust my balls. No, no, I bust yours. You hold the white wine by the stem. Because you don't want your hand to warm it up. The red wine is room temperature. Somebody's up in the top chat. Keep drinking fun, says Tom. When in the Netherlands? You guys want to know the secret to not being hungover? Many of you know this, but match your drink with water. Every time you have a drink, have a water, and you'll be fine. What else we got here? Somebody's drinking tea. Pawpaw's drinking tea. What do I recommend for running American tube amps in Europe, 220 volt? Generally speaking, when you're coming over here, if you're working for a band or doing a tour, you can rent the step up, step down, whatever it's called, transformers from the backline companies. They'll provide them. So you just have to, they're used to that. You don't have to get one or anything. Generally speaking, they'll be able to get you one, like on a rental basis for your gigs or for your tour. But don't expect that they'll be there when you show up or anything like that. You should look into it in advance. Specify with a backline company if you're renting any backline that you need one of those. Rico USA says, what 500 series Neve-like mic pre's do you recommend? I'd like to buy a stereo pair. I don't know. BAE might make one for 500. I'm not sure. That's what I use. If not, I think Vintech has some. They're probably okay. The only 500 series that's sort of similar, and maybe it's not exactly the same thing, is EMI that I used from the Chandler EMI pre's, but it's kind of a different thing. So I don't know, honestly. I wonder if Warm has any for kind of cheap. If you could get a BAE, I would recommend that because I love mine. That's what I use. More wine, says Todd. Thanks, Todd, in the top chat. You guys are trying to get me into trouble here. I thought, Alan says, I thought holding back the ears was bunny porn. Pause. That's funny. That's funny, Alan. Vintex are very good Neve clones, says Jim. Yeah, my friend Jason likes them. Pretty nice stuff. A good way to avoid a hangover is to drink enough to be drunk in the morning, says Lauren. That's terrible. Sort of, yeah. Probably would work. The Bowie one, says Buzz Cheeseburger. Isn't that the best? I'm David Bowie from the 1985 movie Labyrinth. If anybody out there hasn't watched Flight of the Conchords, just thank me later and go watch it wherever you can. Good stuff. And take B12 to reduce the hangover. Too bad I don't have any. Right. Yeah, hit the like button, you guys. That's what Tom says. Please. I appreciate it. 115 minutes live, says Ben. Ben's subtly telling me to, get out of here soon. I know, right? Yeah, I'll probably go till, we're at 2 hours. I'll go a few more minutes. I'll go another 10 minutes or something because I'm having fun. I just got a fresh glass of wine. Why the heck not? What about your overheads? Like overhead lighting? Overhead microphones? Overheads. What do you mean? How about the BAE 1073s, says Tom? Yeah, that's what I have, and I love them. I've got them in the standard two rack. It's one rack space with two 1073s in the same rack. That's what I have. Yeah. Pete Thorn is mixing his wines. That's true. I had a white earlier, and now I had a glass of red wine. Because it'll make me sleepy and it'll put me to sleep. It's time for bed soon. So it's only 10 actually. It's not that late, but I'm gonna go to bed by like midnight or something though, because got a work day tomorrow. Bunch of shit to do tomorrow. Driving, clinic. Can you name a few of your favorite pickups you've played over the years? Yes. As far as the SIRs go, my favorites are V60 LPs and what used to be ML Classics. I'm not sure what they call them now. They call them V63s maybe or something, I think. I always like JB for high gain, but it's kind of a one-trick pony. Just does that one thing. Alnico 2 Pro single coils were pretty nice. I had a set of those, and they were like a nice kind of warm single coil from Seymour Duncan. I like them. I also like the Duncan. What's some of my other favorite Duncans? Custom was kind of cool. The Custom 5 I had in Les Paul for a while. That was kind of cool. It's like a hot, 14K Alnico 5 situation. Antiquities. I've got a set of Antiquities in my old 90s Les Paul. And, they're fine, they're a good pickup. Good PAFE thing. Somebody's up in the top chat. It's Rico USA. Which 500 series Mike Prees do I own? Which Prees are in my bucket list? So yeah, I have the, thanks Rico for doing the top chat. Thanks both you guys, you and Todd and Charlotte. Mine are BAE, and I've got the Dual 1073 with the Steve Stevens mod, which means it's got a summed output. So you can take the summed output and blend both of those mics to just one output and print it. So that if you're blending a ribbon of 57, you just make an executive decision at the recording stage and print them both to one track. So I think that's kind of cool. Other pickups, I love that Motor City second degree black belt that's in my black Sir Frankenstein, or not Frankenstein, it's not Sir Frankenstein, it's an eBay kit guitar that I got actually. I bought from a guy off eBay. Yeah. If I could own any guitar that I currently don't own, what would it be? Maybe a 50s Les Paul. Yeah. Another one, because I had one once and I sold it because I'm stupid. Too bad I don't drink beer. There's a lot of good brands listed over your shoulder. Yeah, man, I know. I would love to. What do we got over there? Yeah, I know. It's hard because they're not real on it with the gluten-free thing here. UK is all over it for whatever reason, like one of the most on it countries. Belgium, they have some, depending where you go. Like if you go to that, the Delirium bar in Brussels, they've got like 5 or 6 there. They got a good selection of gluten-free beers, so that's nice because I can go there and have one. I like that. Yeah, pickups over the years. What other ones that I've played? Those are the ones that really come to mind. Can't really think of. I had some Crossroads in my Les Pauls. Those were pretty cool. The WCR. Trying to remember if there's anything I'm missing. Did you ever get your Red Sir? You mean the Classic? I don't have the Classic yet. It's trying to probably be ready when I get back. Tom says he's gluten-free too. Gluten-free brothers. That's what we are. Yeah. Duval is so good. Yeah, I agree. It's good stuff. Wish I could have it. Sometimes I cheat, rarely. Like when I'm in Japan, I'll have a half a beer sometimes because after a show, they'll always bring me a beer. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll just do it. But it doesn't make me feel great. It just makes me bloated. The gluten-free solves the problem. Hey Pete, any preferred tube manufacturer? Depends on what you need. I like, for modern stuff, I like the Chinese 12X7s is decent enough. I don't love any new tubes, but the EL34s are what we've switched to in the PT100. And they actually sound really good, and they always kind of did. Pretty good tube, really. nice tone. JJ's the people used for a long time. We used them in the PT100, but I was never a big. They were always using those tubes before I ever got to Sir, and there's a reliability thing, you know. So JJ was reliable for a really long time, so they would use them mainly for that reason. It wasn't even like a tonal concern as much as it was just reliability. But then they started going bad all the time. So we had to look elsewhere. And I used to like the EHs way back when I played Top Hat. Like I had my Amplexador, and Brian from Top Hat had set it up with EHs, and he liked them. And Friedman switched to them as well, and he's like, I like these tubes. They sound really good. And I kind of agree. They sound pretty damn good. Now the JJ6 V6s that are in the PT15 are awesome, and they're a robust, really good sounding tube that is well known as regarded as one of the best 6v6s made ever, sort of thing, I think. So it's another reason why it was kind of a no-brainer to just kind of include it in the amp, that type of tube. Have you tried any DiMarzios you like? You know, I have a Super Distortion in one guitar, like Gold Strat. And other than that, man, I've never experimented that much with DiMarzios. Never played Ibanez guitars. I've never owned one, and they always come with DiMarzios, and I don't know. I was a Seymour Duncan guy. I was like, Ford or Chevy? I was always Seymour Duncan. I mean, I bought a lot of Duncans over the years, you know. When I think about all the humbuckers I had Trembucker F-Spaced, Custom 5, Custom, the regular Custom, the JB, what else? Yeah, Antiquities. I know I'm missing stuff because there's other humbuckers I've had from them. But anyways, but yeah, DiMarzios is not so much. How is your lighter gear approach working out for your clinics? Good, that's Daniel. So it's just the HX effects and the PT15. They provide the amp over here. So I'm carrying my laptop, an Apollo Twin Mark II, and the HX effects and assorted cables and stuff, and that's all I have. And it's awesome. Works good. Same rig, I came over and played on this TV show over in the UK this morning. It's kind of like the Good Morning America of the UK, and I just used the same rig. I used PT15, a little 112 cabinet that was borrowed, and the HX effects, and it was great. I mean, tone was slamming, I thought. That's my thumb. Sorry. Go down to the bottom of the chat here. SD Design's in the top chat. Please do an acoustic guitar video. They sound great underneath the electrics. Like, what kind of video would you want to see on acoustics? I did do a recording acoustics, like how to record and, you know, EQ and stuff like that. I have a pretty extensive video about that up on YouTube, but let me know if there's something else you'd like to see. What about Lawler pickups? Heard them, but haven't really put them in my own guitars. What do I like about the Antiquities, says Eric? They have a clarity to them, which, as you guys know, I love. So like the stock pickups in that old '90s Les Paul would have been a 498 and a 500T or whatever. They have 496 or whatever the hell they called those pickups. Hot, not PAFE. And I replaced them with a pair of Antiquities with the nickel covers, and it just opened the guitar right up, and it sounded less hot and more jangly, and so I like that. A Very Dead Horse is in the top chat. He says, every time I Mesa with the L34s, I'm using a Rectoverb for my bass 6 rig. So that's when I'm mixing with the bass rig. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've tried stilettos, and that'd probably be the main amp, I guess, the stiletto that I tried with the L34s. I've had a bunch of boogies, by the way, over the years. I mean, I had a Caliber 50, original with the L84s. I had a studio preamp rig with a 295 power amp and two 212s, a big 12-space rack. And then I had a rectifier, 3-channel rectifier. So I've owned quite a few of those amps over the years. Oh, and I had a stereo 2020 power amp, too. DiMarzio 36th anniversary pickups, Christopher Kroom says, sound great, and his Les Paul based on Larry's 59 PAFs. They're lower gain pickups that transform my traditional. Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things about those 36th anniversary ones. Yeah. Antiquity pearly gates are off the hook. I didn't know they made those. That's cool. Billy Gibbons style, eh? That's cool. Let's see what else we got here. I'd love a mixed breakdown of rosemary. Oh, that's interesting from Lauren. Yeah, I could do that. Didn't I kind of do that in one? I think on the orange preamp video I did, I recreated rosemary. You might hear it in that, Lauren. Check out the video for the orange acoustic preamp I did. I'm just remembering I used that tune to do a thing on that video. You know, for a piece of music in the orange, for the orange acoustic preamp. I started with my original track and then I just kind of went through and sort of, you know, like muted the tracks that were on the record and then played through the orange. And I'm sure I break them down and solo them. Yeah. Somebody else is up in the top chat. It's Sasha Boo Boo. What's up, man? When you sound bored over there, check out Sasha Boo Boo. Or when you get bored over there, when I sound bored. I think I've had too much wine. Check out Sasha Boo Boo on SoundCloud. The Pursuit is a Pete Thorn inspired solo. I will check that out. I want to hear it. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing the top chat as well. All the best to you, Sasha Boo Boo. Gone, no feed. Other people are chiming in. I wonder, maybe just refresh. Find some John Mayer now. What's up, John? Blending 12 Ts with vintage 30s. What's a 12 T? I know 12L. That's Lured Mall. What's a 12 T? I don't know that. I don't know that speaker. Sorry. I don't know. Have I ever tried a transatlantic and what was my opinion? To Jensen. I didn't bond with it. I wanted to like the transatlantic because isn't that the amp? Oh, am I thinking of the right one? The one that's like AC 15 stuff, or like a 15 watt kind of Voxy supposed to be. I played it and I just didn't hear any of that in it, to be honest. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's not the right model I'm thinking of. Anyway, fill me in. Let me know. It's Jensen. I didn't. I just couldn't get any AC30 like tones out of it, I didn't think. But use the aux live to front of house. No, only for recording. Only for recording. Have I ever done a video on playing or practicing in the dark? I had a teacher that did that to work on note targeting and active listening instead of playing shapes. That's kind of a cool idea, actually. Like actively not looking at the neck and playing in the dark. That's interesting. It'd be a pretty dark video. I guess I could just do it and not actually film it, and then just use like a black screen and say, "Hey, this is Pete Thorn. I'm in the dark." And but I could actually be in the light, and I could be hitting everything perfect, and everybody think, "Wow, how are you doing that?" And then I'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm blind anyway, in case you didn't notice." So it's been like this all along. Playing while not looking down at the fretboard is a very, very important skill. I'd agree with that. It's Joe. Evidently it's buffering again. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Favorite song of your album is Homage. It's like a Happy Hendrix tune. Thanks. Yeah, that was kind of the vibe I was going for sure. For sure. Kind of a Hendrixy thing. Hit refresh. You're back. Refresh your video when things are messy. Yeah, people are saying refresh. Hope it's working. Out of sync. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll pay my bill and then I'll walk into the other room because I think that it's too problematic in here. So just 1 second. Excuse me, sir. I'll just pay you for that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Hold on, folks. Everybody listen to John Mayer. I think we're at the solo. It's a good solo. I like that. It's cool. Nice solo. You guys hear that?
€8.75.
Thank you.
Good.
Get my change. Go in the other room. We've gone a long one today, so I'm going to split pretty soon. But we'll go another 5 or so. I said I was going to go 10 about a half an hour ago, didn't I? Sorry, Ben Coombs, you're probably gone already. Oh no, you're still here. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it's true. I got my surf sweatshirt on. Wear it all the time. I overwear it. This is comfortable. SD Design says booze is good.
€41.25.
Thanks, man. Get my change. Go back in the other room. Somebody says €8. That's robbery or whatever. But actually, I had a water too, bottled water. So, gotta take that into account. Nice in here. Good vibe. All right, you guys. Well, let's wind it up. I can go watch the news or something. Time to wind down for the night. I'll do that on this red couch amongst these pillows. This one has been a different vibe. Light is terrible. Yeah, that's not too bad. There we go. Somebody's late. Dances reluctantly just got here. Dude, it's time to go. I got to split. People are leaving anyway. I've lost about 75 people in the last. It must have gotten boring, or maybe the buffering wasn't working, or whatever. Oh, somebody went and checked out Sasha Bubu's track. This is Sasha Bubu. That's a great solo. I'll have to give it a listen. I want to give it a listen. Time to wind down, says Jeff Sweet. That's right. Wishing you incredible rest of the evening, says Derek. I don't know if you've been incredible, but fellow around here. A little town right across the bridge here is like it really looks like a movie set or something. Like it's like a postcard. So I might go over there and just go for a walk and turn on the TV and chill out for the rest of the night. All right, you guys. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here. I don't know where I'll be next week. Let me take a look on my phone real quick and see, just before I wind up, what next week looks like. Okay. Come on, open. Okay, next Sunday is going to be the 29th. And on the 29th, I shall be in I'm going to be in, that's a day off actually. I think it's a drive day. I'm going to be driving. Sorry guys. Just made it back. I guess it's probably time to go. Oh, Kurt says the iPad does that to me too. I wonder if it's the iPad. It's buggering up. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be driving next week on the Sunday. But, you know, I do this at night, so maybe it'll be okay. Maybe I'll be at a hotel by the time, you know. But I'll probably post on my Facebook as well as on YouTube and stuff, the YouTube posts. I'll put a post up and just to let you know if I'm going to be there, if I think I'll be there in time. But it's going to be a cool day. We're going to drive all the way from Germany through Switzerland all the way to Milan. So I can't wait to do that because I've done it before actually, and it's a pretty damn great drive. But killed by buffer, says Lord Molly. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, guys, sorry about the buffering and all that crap, but we made it. We made it to the end. And thanks for hanging with me. I really appreciate it. Thanks if anybody made it out to any of the clinics and they're online right now. Really appreciate you guys coming out. It's been a really fun couple weeks, and the fun continues. Okay, everybody, have a good rest of your Sunday. Really appreciate you being here. See ya. Rock on.